everyone, Mild Mike here, sitting here in my office about to do some trap building. And I had promised you guys a tutorial on how to build two different types of traps, and I'm going to cover both of them in this video. They're very basic, very cheap and affordable. The first one I'm going to start out with is very easy, and all it requires, really it doesn't even require this, but it's easier to use a Dremel tool and a pair of scissors, and you need some kind of string or paracord to run through it for your wire to pull it up once you're done. But it's more of a minnow trap for the first type, and it's the plastic bottle trap. Now many people have done videos on these and tutorials on these, but I do these a little differently than most people. Most people do these in such a way that you cut them and you zip tie them together and things like that, but I do it a certain way so that it snaps together. So it's super easy to load, super easy to bait, and super easy to unload. All you do is pull it out, dump your whatever you got to do, put bait in or close it back up. So the first thing you're going to need is one of these. Now, I don't like the round jugs because they roll around, but these flat jugs, the bait gives it weight and it sits flat on the bottom, which is perfect, wonderful. And what I did was make a hole in the bottom to run paracord through to pull it in easier. Alright, so the first things first of how to start is you take you a pair of scissors, and if you'll look, there's all these little perforated lines all through this bottle that just weave in and out. What you want to do is stab your scissors in the third, so you got 1, 2, third, count up, you got your 1, 2, third perforated line. Stab you a pair of stab you a knife in there to start a hole. Get your scissors and cut in that groove all the way around the bottle. Try to stay in that groove the best you can, and there's a reason for that, and I'll show you here in a second. Just try to stay in that perforated groove all the way around, and voila. So we have two different parts here now. We have this, which is your funnel, and we have the case, which is your actual trap. Now what you're going to do is flip this inside out, and the perforations act like snap lines to your trap, giving you the option to just snap it in like so. It's locked, and snap it out. So it's super easy to do that. And then what you do afterwards, or what I do rather, these bottle traps, it can take a while for them to fill up with water, so the best thing that I have found to do is to take you a Dremel tool and drill hundreds of little holes all around these raised areas, all the way around the bottle, and some on the bottom, some on the funnel area, just tons and tons of little holes, so that as soon as it hits the water, it starts filling up and sinks quickly to the bottom. Also, I have found that these do not work for crawfish as is. You can edit them to work for crawfish by taking this flat area up here, poking a hole in it, just like you did the perforated area. There we go. And then take your scissors and work you a circle all the way around the bottle. Doesn't have to be straight, doesn't have to be pretty. Crawfish don't care about how pretty your traps are. So just a statement there that you can do it as wild and ugly as it needs to be. All you want is a big enough hole for them jokers to come through and get trapped. So I like to do a lot bigger hole than this, and you can easily see the difference once I pull this off. You can easily see the difference in the size of those two holes. The crawfish I'm catching are that big around, and so if you take that big around and work with this, it just doesn't work. So this will also make your lid more snappable, so it's easier to put in and out. But see, there you go. Now you have a funnel that goes in. They go in and they can't figure out how to get out. It's better for minnows if you leave it like it is for this, but I'm not after minnows. I am after crawfish. So I do have one of these as a minnow trap just for when I'm fishing. I can throw them out and catch some minnows for bait, but other than that, I just use them for crawfish. So there's the first simpler trap, easy. However, it is not necessarily more affordable. Now, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there, and I hope that he sees this video so he knows that I'm giving him credit for this. But there's a man named, I can't remember his name, but he has a YouTube channel called Fishing and Stuff. Fishing and Stuff. And I watch a lot of his videos, and I saw one where he had a hack for a cheap dollar store crawfish trap. And they're actually very, very easy to make. So I want to shout out to Fishing and Stuff channel for all the work that he does researching all these hacks and testing them and showing everybody how to build them. And I went out and bought me some baskets and made some of them, and they are dynamite traps, absolutely wonderful. But you only need a couple things. It's super affordable. The baskets are $1.25 a piece, and then at the Dollar Tree, or the $1.25 tree, as Fishing and Stuff says, because that's what they changed it to. But the baskets are $1.25 a piece. If you go to Walmart to buy Paracord, you can get Paracord cheap at Walmart. But here's the kicker: don't get the Ozark Trail brand off of the camping aisle. That's a no-no. Go to your arts and crafts section, and they will have a section with Paracord on it that looks like this, and it's Hello Hobby Parachute Cord. So go to your hobby section at your local Walmart, and you'll see this cord on one of those aisles. That's what I did. You'll pay, I think, 20 bucks for a roll of 550 paracord on the camping aisle, and it's just not worth it. I mean, it's just as good to buy cheap paracord like this for something that I'm doing like this. So if I was going camping and I was trying to do like a survival video or something like that, I would go the extra mile and pay more money for the stronger 550 paracord. But this is all you need for trapping. I mean, you're not trying to pull up an elephant. You're trying to pull up a trap that's got a few crawfish, maybe some fish in it. All this trap requires some zip ties. They're a couple dollars a piece at any hardware store. Some bungee cords. It's $4 for a pack of 20 of these things. Dirt cheap. These are some snips I already had, although you can just use a regular pair of scissors. They'll work too. This is some mesh wire my dad had laying around. I think he used this for his chicken coop, and he had a bunch left over. So these are the baskets you buy from Dollar General, or not Dollar General. I apologize. Dollar Tree, not Dollar General. These are the baskets. They're super small. I say they're super small. They're about a foot long, probably a foot wide. That tapers down to about 7 or 8 inches on the bottom. And so the way we're going to do this is we're going to take 2 of these baskets, invert them, put them together like this, okay? And I go ahead and start out that way, like that, right off the bat. That's what I do. And I use zip cords for the first part. I usually use wire, but I was out of wire for this part, so it just is what it is. So I get a couple zip ties laid out. Go ahead and put one through. Let me move this out of the camera away. Go ahead and put one of those through the rim, just like this, as close to the rim as possible, directly under the rim. And then do the same thing on the other trap, just like this. You zip through the first rim right here, and you zip tie it down tight all the way. You go about, say this is 1 o'clock, you're going to go over to about 11 o'clock and do the same thing. Zip tie it tight. Okay. Now the reason I do it like that is this side is left open to where you can snap it open and dump your crawfish out. See how easy that is? Alright, now we're going to snip those off with a pair of scissors. Short, just where they're simply tied. Alright. Easy. See? You ain't got no whiskers hanging off of it anymore, so that's good. Alright, see how that works? Easy peasy. Open like that. Okay? Alright. Now, here is the easiest thing in the world to do. You take some of these mini bungee cords, just like this. Pull you one out. If it's possible to pull just one at a time. Alright. Alright, then you find your 11 o'clock and your 2 o'clock, and you go between them on the opposite side. Hook your bungee cord about 2 inches in from the end. Stretch it as far as you can. Or actually, this is what I do to keep my line from slipping on it. I take and hook the bungee cord on something, and we'll say for now we'll just hook it on the edge of this. And I pull the bungee cord tight as I can, as tight as I can get it, and I loop a little slip knot in it, like this. Just a simple little double knot in the middle of the paracord. Or not the paracord, I meant the bungee cord. In the very middle of it, you slip a knot, just like this. Alright, see there? Very middle, we got a little loop knot. That's what our paracord is going to go through to drag the trap out. Okay? So, now, you're going to close this up, find your 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. Put this about 2 inches from the end on one side, stretch it to about 2 inches from the end on the other side. Here in just a second. I got a little tight there, hold on. Alright, so this is what you're left with after that. You have this. Okay? This is about the makings of it right here. But just for intents and purposes, I'll be right back to show you how to make the funnels. Okay, so how we're going to make this is we're going to take some snips or scissors or whatever you have on hand, and we're just going to snip. Basically, if you look at the bottom of a basket, you have this thicker wire and the thinner wire. You're going to snip the circle of the thinner wire out. You guys can see that, right? Okay, good. Alright, so we're going to snip the thinner wire out from around the outside, just like so, all the way around in a circle. Now, I didn't want to buy more baskets to make the mesh with the funnel. You can do that, but I was too cheap for that. I just went with wire I already had here on my dad's farm. So I called him up and said, hey, do you have any hardware cloth? Because hardware cloth is like a mesh that you would use for like the bottom of chicken bitty brooders and things like that. But he said, no, I don't have any. He said, but I do have some stuff you might could have. You want to come take a look at it and see if it'll work. So I went over there, and it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. So with that said, alright, so we got that finished cutting, and this is what you're left with. You got a hole there, see? Alright. So with that said, we're going to take about 1.5 feet of this, and we're going to cut it. It's super easy to cut. It cuts like paper. I'm going to set the trap out of my lap for now while I cut this. Cuts like paper. You can even cut it that way with scissors. Super easy. Alright. Then we're going to take and fold it in like so to make the funnel. Alright. Now that we got the funnel like we want it, we're going to take a zip tie and we're going to stick it through the bottom area of the wire just like this. See there? The bottom part of the inside wire through the outside, and then we're going to zip it down. Oop. If I don't slip up and let it come out of there again, just like I just did. Alright. Now you can use these for little bait fish and stuff too, and they work really well. I've caught several brim on these that I've made recently. Again, thanks to Fishing the Stuff for bringing that hack to light and showing people how to do that. Alright, and now I'm going to take further up, and I have a small zip tie here that I had in the bag. I'm going to use that one because it's a little easier to deal with. I'm going to go in from the outside, work it back up through the inside and to the outside, just like so. See there? Alright, and now I'm going to stick it through and cinch it down. Alright, now I'm going to take my snips and I'm gonna just cut in a round pattern all the way around so that the funnel is flat on top. Just like so. And I'm in my office / shed, so I don't care if the wire bits fall on the floor. I can sweep them up later. If you're in your house, you may want to do this over a trash can or over a desk or something, or drawer, so that you don't make a mess. And if you're married like me, and so your wife doesn't have shavings all over her floor, because anybody up there who's married, you know that wives are very careful with what they let happen to their floors. So, and we should be too, because you know we got to pay for it if it gets messed up. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and push this in as far as it'll go without damaging it. And because there is rough cut edges from some of these things, you may have to work it on down. Just turn it in a circle and, you know, bend it and contort it if you have to get it down in there. Alright, now that we've got that far down in there, we're going to take a couple more zip ties, like so. I usually use about 3 on this part just because I want to make sure that it's not going to come undone. But before we do that, I'm going to take a regular pair of scissors because it's a little easier to get in this tight spot. And I'm going to cut as much close to the trap as I can without moving the wire that I just did this with. And you may have to cut the zip ties you used earlier, which is okay because now the trap is actually holding the funnel together. Alright, see how low I just cut that down? That's perfect. Alright, now you get some zip ties and you zip tie through the basket into the funnel and tighten it down. Alright, as far as it'll tighten down, you tighten it down. Go in about a 1/3 distance apart here. Run another one through. Zip tie it down. Alright, so we're zip tying that down as far as it'll go. And then run another 1/3 of the way and zip tie another spot. So you've got about 3 of 3 sides done. Alright, so we have this tightened down. Be careful that you don't accidentally stab the wire in yourself while you're doing this, because that is not good. It is very painful and uncomfortable. So we're going to take and snip off the excess of these zip ties. And there's one funnel. And then you can take and fold down these prickly edges if you want to. That's just personal preference. I just hate getting cut by my own traps. So hold these down like this so that when you throw them out, it doesn't stab you or slice your skin like mine got done on my hardware cloth trap the other night. Alright, so there you have one funnel. Alright, and you're just going to repeat the process on the other side. Alright, about 1.5 feet of wire. I might could even use a half, I just don't want to make it too small. Alright. Then you're going to again rotate your wire to make your funnel. Just like this. Okay? Zip tie your inside and your outside part. Sometimes if you have an extra pair of hands near, like your wife or your friend or brother or uncle or cousin or something, it makes this a little easier to do. But you can still do it if you don't have that. It's just a little bit more difficult to feed that zip tie through and, you know, do it on your own. Alright, so now we got the next funnel made. And it's okay if it's slanted like that. The crawfish don't care. They just after the bait. They're just after the bait. That's all they want. So don't be discouraged if it comes out a little wonky. It's not the end of the world. And it doesn't make you a bad trap builder. It's just part of it. Alright, so I'm going to take this and we're going to cut out the bottom of the opposite side of the one we just did. Alright, we got the funnel inserted as deep as it'll go. Now we are going to begin to cut around close to the trap as we can without damaging the funnel or making it where it won't sit right. And for some reason the crunchiness of these things when you're cutting them with scissors is just really satisfying. So there's that. Alright, again, every 1/3 of the space to the funnel, zip tie it. Okay. Second third. And the last one to go on. Alright. Now we're going to take some scissors and we're going to snip those off in a closest place as we can. And tell you what, I'm actually going to use some pruning shears for that because it's just a little easier to get down to it. And 3. Alright folks, after I bend these down so they won't poke me, this will be my 4th trap finished and ready for crawfishing. But before we go, we're going to just show you here, to get your crawfish out, you undo your thing there, snaps open. And currently there's a piece of excess wire left in here, so we're just going to dump that out. Alright, close it back up, fasten your bungee cord, and all you gotta do now is run you a paracord through there, bait your trap, and throw it out. Alright, shout out again, thanks to Fishing and Stuff for pointing this hack out, and I'm just repeating it to get it out there to more people. Alright, check out Fishing and Stuff's channel. He seems to be a great guy, knows a lot about fishing. Have a blessed day. Wild Mike out.